Here we go, back to the same boat show. We're seeing the same boats over and over again. What am I talking about? Canada and New Zealand tops the list of countries most vulnerable to housing bubble. So, what are they trying to sell us here in this article? We already know what happened in New Zealand, and we already know how things got bad in New Zealand, where they had to put a ban on foreign buying. Now you start seeing the price completely stagnate and drop in New Zealand. Not drop by much, though, in some of the bigger cities, but slowly trickling down until it finds its bottom. Now, with lots happening, there's lots happening in New Zealand, guys. Lots of people sleeping in vehicles, lots of people sleeping in tents, people renting out tents to sleep in people's backyards, people being put up in hotels. You got the black mold issue that was an issue for a while. You had the homes being meth tested for methamphetamine usage or methamphetamine abuse, and some homes became contaminated and unlivable. You have the Kiwi build plan that's kind of working, but it's not, and then they're not working. This whole administration that's in power right now, with Jacinta Ardern, she's worked to, her platform was housing and basically putting Kiwis first, and they've played a few power moves, a few bold moves, I have to say, in my opinion. But is it too far gone? Is Canada's too far gone? Because I just read an article that people are moving to Prince Edward Island and buying up the market there, and the year over year markets are doubling, tripling, and quadrupling, and builds and builders moving there, and construction moving there, and everyone gobbling up the last pieces of remnants of Canada that's left, that's affordable. Pretty soon, in the next 5 to 10 years, nobody under the age of 25 will ever be able to buy into the market. Not because they're forever bought out, it's because their wages will never, even doctors in major cities, in Vancouver, can't afford to live. That's how bad it is. I know a doctor that actually shares a room with somebody in Vancouver. Housing prices in Canada are not sustainable and rising much faster relative to how much people are earning. So guys, you guys need to understand, earning power, what you make, housing needs to be built off of income. Because then you get the first-time home buyers in the market, you get all the fresh blood in the market, you get people upgrading and upgrading and upsizing to bigger families and needing bigger accommodations. But unfortunately, it's not, and it's been basically the highest, the richest investors basically, and the best students that could afford people taking in students instead of taking in locals to help with the infrastructure, right? Okay, so relative to much people are earning for paying rent, according to the research of Bloomberg Economics released earlier this month. The result puts Canada alongside of New Zealand at the top of a list of the most risk of housing bubble, according to the new study. Canada was only the only country to rank near the top of the 4 bubble indicator categories. We did a whole show about this like 4 months ago on trends in the housing market. I'll start redoing trends in a couple of weeks when I'm back in town, once I get everything sorted here in Ontario. So, house price rent ratio is 1. House price income ratio is 1. Real house prices is another. That's very important, actually, right there. And percentage of the GDP, I think that's very important too. And that has to deal with your total debt service ratio and understanding what you're working in with your total debt service ratio as a combined household income, right? And how much you have left over to buy food, basically. Visual Capitalist, which put the data into graphic form, said that the fallout of the bubble can throw the region's entire economy into disarray. Canada's ranked third behind Portugal and Ireland for housing prices that outpaced inflation, and the fifth in terms of household debt levels compared to the country's economic output. Federal and provincial governments have already implemented a number of measures in recent years to help cool some of Canada's hottest markets, including a stress test and a foreign buyer's tax. But renting, for example, remains difficult for minimum wage workers. I covered that a few videos ago. Minimum wage workers can't afford a 1-bedroom. Working 2 jobs minimum. Even like combined incomes can't afford a 1-bedroom because it's so out of whack. That study said soaring rent is making 97% of Canadian neighborhoods unaffordable for workers earning a full-time minimum wage. Full-time and minimum wage, sorry. Meanwhile, markets like Toronto saw home sales and prices pick up again this month. Dead cat bounce. Dead cat bounce. Basically, if this was a roadmap, okay, you would see your road going here, prices going up, up, down, and then up a bit. You're right here. And then up a bit, and then boom. So we're in a dead cat bounce as we speak. Bloomberg economist said caution that efforts to avoid global economic downturn through looser monetary policy sow the seeds of the next housing crisis. So we're beyond that already. This is way beyond. This article's a few days old, and I'm surprised they're actually throwing this out there, knowing what we know here already on this channel, what we've covered already. The entire Commonwealth is screwed. I've been covering the entire Commonwealth since 2013 actually, but kind of more 2014. I started hitting it hard because the same patterns are cropping up in every English-speaking country. We are open for business. Come in and invest here instead of investing in risky business with all this government red tape and all this taxes to operate a business. Why? Risky stock market, uncertainty in the markets. Why? Just invest it in housing. Come up and buy our housing. Then they threw the foreign buyers tax, and that spilled foreign investors across the country and down to Seattle from Vancouver and across to Victoria, and a lot of them went to Toronto. I read that article almost in 2017. Still remember that day, 2017. It was kind of cold out when it was kind of snowing out when that day when I read that article. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you're in New Zealand, let me know. We'll get trends in the housing market and Mike and the Night back up and running in a week or two. And just getting things sorted here in Ontario here. And I want to thank everyone for their kind words and support. It really means a lot to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.